Okay, this is a one speaker meeting. Please welcome our speaker tonight. Who is it? Jimmy Rich.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Rich. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Jimmy.
I'm coming to believe that I am a troublemaker, and I am a problem maker, and it took me 30 years to begin to understand that I was creating my own problems for the most part. It was a bitter pill to swallow, and I'm kind of nervous because this is the first time I've ever done this. I'm lying. Dude, I saw how well it worked for Jay. I figured I'd try it out. But I was born in the charity ward of the LA County Hospital. My mother was carrying me while she was in Silver Brand. They escorted her to County Hospital where she gave birth to me, and then she was promptly taken back into custody. And I went into foster care, and my mom got out, and her and my father went to Palm Springs, where she decided to overdose and was dead at the age of 25. My father went into prison, and I stayed in foster care. He did his term, got out, and petitioned the courts and got custody of me again. And seemed to straighten his act up. I think he was like in Chic or whatever it was back in the 70s or whatever. And he remarried, and I was like in a family with my father and my stepmother, and my dad was working for the city, and he was breaking up illegal dog fighting rings in Baldwin Park. And so in my house there was anywhere from 15 to 20 abused Staffordshire Terriers or pit bulls, and my mother was like deciding to raise Siamese cats for but the funniest thing was it seems like so there'd be anywhere from 15 to 20 pit bulls in our house and anywhere from 15 to 20 Siamese cats at the same time, but it was perfect for the most part. Well, let's see here. So December 19th, 1975, my father tells me he's going to get a Christmas tree, and he doesn't come home, and we get a call from the police at like 2 in the morning where they found him dead from an overdose in the fetal position of his car. And I guess he shot up, passed out, hit his face on the steering wheel because he wore glasses, and he hit his face on the steering wheel, crawled in the back seat, and died. So the last thing my father told me was that he was going to get a Christmas tree. And, that's, it is what it is, right? And that's how I kind of dealt with it. I just go, well, it just is what it is. Even at 6 years old, I just said, well, whatever. And you kind of just move on. I wasn't in a family where you really talked about anything. It wasn't like in the fact of, how he died and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't like it wasn't hidden from me, but it was something that we never talked about. So as far as like talking about feelings and like the whole thing, it's just like, wow, it's just like you like begin to clean your act up, and like you become, a productive member of society, and like you become part of the program. And the thing that's so important about, or that I've come to believe and come to find out that's so important, is sharing about what's really going on inside of you. Because in doing that, you really have a better chance. Or I've come to believe that I got a better chance when I do that. That's pretty much how it started out, for the most part. I'd say, dude, I had a perfect childhood. And dude, I was totally being prepped for what life had to offer me, and which is, if they're telling you it's easy, they're lying to you. If they say, life's easy, or, this and that, and saying, it's just like, it's not. It's about showing up and doing work and really hanging on sometimes, man, no matter how dude, it's all about walking through, dude, uncomfortable feelings, you know, and which I chose not to do when I decided to, you know, I mean, dude, it's that first time. That first time, I think I was watching the Rolling Stones farewell tour, like the real one, man. The real farewell tour when they should have hung it up. You know, come on. I'm a Zeppelin fan. But it was on TV where you just had that one switch and you turned it on. You had that one channel of cable television, and I was at a friend Joe Matthews' house, and the you know what? Out came the baby bottle bong, and of course there was the beers, because I mean the beers were always around, and it was that thing, and like it was decision time. Like I was the next in line to, like, the bong was coming my way, and I had that part of me saying, like, dude, drugs killed, because it was in my head. Drugs killed your parents. Drugs killed your parents. And so I had that part of me, but then I had the part of me that also wanted to be, you know what, cool and part of, like, wanting to be part of something. And, dude, the minute it came to me, I hit it. There was no, like, you know, I was not, like, you know, indecisive or anything. It was like, boom, no, I did it. And when I exhaled that and coughed and choked and coughed and exhaled it, I knew what I wanted to be. Nothing. When they say, when growing up, when they asked me, when they ask you that question, what do you want to be when you get older? First off, I wanted to be a dinosaur. And they told me, they try to explain to me that that's not, it's just not going to be possible. So then my number 2 response was, well, then I want to be Cornelius from the Planet of the Apes. The original Planet of the Apes, you know. Yeah, the original, yeah. And so I was able to do that on Halloween, but Halloween only. And but other than that, I mean, I really had no drive or ambition. I mean, and what I did have, especially after my father died, was this really, dude, uncomfortable, uneasy inability to just be part of, because I had a chip on my shoulder. Basically, I kind of figured, like, my parents are dead, F you, F it, you know, we're all effed. Is kind of, you know, is kind of the way I felt. And I lived like that for years and years and years. And it was never like a school counselor like talked to me and says, hey Jimmy, what's going on? That's kind of like that thing. It's just like basically the wall went up, and I just reinforced it and reinforced it and reinforced it and reinforced it until it wasn't even, I was absolutely unapproachable. Dude, I was just not there. And even like the first time, I mean, it really started, I mean, dude, I was into drugs and alcohol, and just boozing it up and just drinking my way through. I mean, the only reason I showed up for high school was because I had, you know, I had business there as far as like selling drugs. That's the only reason why I showed up. Dude, you got to show up for clientele. I mean, it's just like, you know, dude, and they talk about going to proms and going to dances. I showed up, but I never went inside. You know what? It was just like going to Grateful Dead shows. I just showed up, but just never went inside. You know? But for the most part, but I just like, I never was introduced, and I was never shown that there was another way to live, because I basically checked out. And I say I was never shown. Well, I never asked. I never asked for help. I never told anybody that there was something going on. I just never did anything. I just kept it all to myself because I bought into the lie that a man doesn't ask for help, that a man doesn't show his feelings, doesn't show his emotions, that a man, basically needs to assume all responsibility and needs to carry it around on his shoulder, and it was a lie. And I just did that and did that and did that and did that and did that, and then the thing is, like, I mean, there's that grace period, how they talk about grace around here, but it seems like there's that grace period when you first start getting, drunk and loaded. I mean, dude, there's really no repercussion as a result of it. I mean, there's that fun period, and it just seems for me, it seemed to like last for a long time until I got busted the first time. I was able to like really get away with it for a long time. And then, that thing is, it's just like I just sank lower and lower and lower and lower and lower and deeper and deeper. And I did those, you begin to draw those lines in the sand. You're like, I'm not going to do this. And then, dude, you just like erase that. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to do this. Right? And you just erase it and you're like, I'll never do that. Dude, but along in my head, I figured, you know what, my parents were junkies. And if I stay away, okay, wait, how did I justify all that? Dude, first it was just like, you know what, I'm just never gonna pay for it. I'm never gonna pay for it. And it kind of goes, and then like, dude, there's that day where you're jonesing, and then you're just like, all right, and you do it, and it was okay. It felt okay. I'm like, wow, it ain't that bad. It's okay to pay for it. And then you're like, you know what? Just nope. I'm just never gonna smoke it. Anyways, blah 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 blah. But it's all that that rationalization, all that justification, and the bottom line is every line that I ever drew or had drawn in the sand or wherever, I crossed it. I mean, this thing was on me. It was straight deer hunter. I mean, that thing was like, Mow! Mow! Totally, dude. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. Kick, 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 kick. But, dude, it was on me. It was on me. It was on me. And I did it. I did it. I did what it asked me to do. The whole thing was not knowing that there was another way to live, and not knowing that it's okay to like say, you know what, I don't know. I mean, being able to admit that, or like me coming to a point in my life where I could actually admit, like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you actually explain that to me? Because, dude, it's like, no, I got that. Yeah, I got it. No, I totally understand. That's the common response for me. Because I didn't want to be seen. I always wanted to be kind of like seen in a favorable light. I wanted to be, not necessarily looked on as being cool, but just like if somebody looked at me, then they'd be just like, okay, he knows what's up, for the most part. But there it is. There. I put myself in, dude, so many different situations where I'm very lucky to be standing here, I guess, or I was just got done whatever manufacturing or cooking a batch of methamphetamine and in the San Gabriel Valley, and we decided, okay, well, now we're going to drive to Frisco and we're going to try to score some acid. And, I'm like wandering this park in Frisco. I'm spun out. I'm sucked up. I kind of look like a cop. And, like, I'm wondering why, dude, nobody wants to, like, deal with me or anything like that. So I'm getting all bummed out. And I was up there with my roommates. And on the way home, Tanya decides to tell Tom that me and her had sexual relations, and it just was not true. So now he looks at me and he's telling me that I'm the devil. Obviously, I'm no, not a devil. I am the devil, right? He basically said I crossed the river of Hades, right, to destroy him and his girlfriend's happiness. And I'm just like, wow, dude, right? I'm just like, and I'm like to Tanya, I'm like, dude, Tanya, why'd you just? I mean, dude, it's that whole like sleight of hand thing. Like, she had something going on, and like, dude, she was gonna work this, and it caught me off guard. But anyways, Tom decided to run me over in his car on the way home, which he did, and he hit me doing like 80 plus miles an hour, like threw me 60 feet, and like put me in a coma for a while. And it's just like one of those situations, like I'm just like, it's just like one of those things that happens, as a result of alcohol and drugs, man. I just don't know how to say it. I would, dude, if I wasn't drunk and loaded, I wouldn't have been in that situation. I don't know, man. Anyway, so I'm doing all that. I'm running amok in the San Gabriel Valley. Dude, listening to Slayer and driving around in stolen cars, full-on lab. And dude, I'm like driving a 75 Volkswagen Bug. I take it back, dude. That's totally uncool. It was a 67. It had one-piece cowl windows, and it was lowered, and it was stolen. And and that's the thing. And like my thing was, okay, what color am I going to paint it tomorrow? Because my whole thing was I'm going to paint the car a different color every day, right? I mean, dude, I'm going to stay one step ahead, and I'm going to basically get on a motorcycle. I'm going to cruise the city. I'm going to find plates to a Bug that I'm about to paint, about to change the color to. I'd steal the plates off of it. Dude, I'm just like tripping. I'd drive home. I would like pull the Bug into the garage. I would spray paint the entire Bug. I put the new plates on it. Dude, and this was like a daily routine. That was the fun I had in between cooking meth, you know what I'm saying? But no, dude, it went on and on and on and on and on. Just, dude, absolute insanity. I mean, dude, this is the thing, dude. When I turned to my aunt the first time, and I'm like, dude, I remember I'm standing in the bedroom. It's like one of those moments where you're just like, dude, life has just crashed in on you, and all you can do is kind of like stand there and go like this. And she walks in, and she's just like, what is the matter with you? And I'm like, I got a drug problem, right? Because it was like, dude, I was like, dude, having all this stuff, and I was just like, maybe I do got a drug problem, right? And no, you gotta understand, this is like the precursor to like all the stuff I just told you. But her basic generic response was get the F out of the house. She did the best with what she had. I mean, dude, basically drugs had killed my father, her brother, my mother. And when I told her now that I have a drug problem, all she knew how to do was tell me to get out. And so I got out. That's because that's, what we do. Not to say that we don't go places that we're not wanted, but, it's just like, dude, when she told me to get out, I got out. And I did what I could to survive, Dude, had a halfway decent hustle. And the thing is, it went on, and I was semi-successful at it for a while. And then it's just that thing, dude. You get popped, and then you get popped, and like it gets quicker and quicker. Like, dude, you're like every time you go in, you're like, okay, this is what I'm doing differently. All right, okay, now, dude, you know what, dude? I'm not gonna ever have a scale on me. I'm never gonna buy baggies. Everything's, dude. It's that whole thing. And, dude, it's never like, wow, dude, really? So that's the answer, huh? It's like, dude, I'm going to be more careful of who I deal to. It's just like, no, dude. Dude, it's absolutely insane, And, like, but, dude, I absolutely admit, dude, I did that for years and years and years, man. It's just like, dude, before I began to, understand that, dude, when I looked in the mirror, that I was looking right at the problem. I didn't understand that. Everybody else was the problem. It was never me. It was everybody else. And So basically, I'm looking, looking at 7 years, 8 months, and I'm like, wow, how did that happen? That's basically the whole thing. It's just like, dude, I'm like, on a felony evading, and I'm like doing 100 miles an hour down residential streets, and I'm, going the wrong way on the 105 freeway. I'm going back against traffic, trying to lose these cops. And I'm going, dude, against traffic on an dude, I'm like all over the place. And I got my friend next to me, and dude, that Talking Head songs on the radio, dude. I'm gonna make them stay up all night, dude. Dude, it was like dude, it was surreal what was going on, because, dude, there must have been, I don't know, man. I mean, it seemed like I probably had 10 cop cars behind me and one motorcycle cop for good measure. And dude, we're singing along to the song, and I'm just like, just on one. And dude, here's another thing. It was in a rental car, and like, me and my friend Corey are like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna like pull the fuses on this car. So that, because he had like one of those electronic odometers or whatever you call that thing, and it's just like we're gonna pull it because we don't want to exceed the daily allowed of mileage. So, dude, we pulled all these fuses out, and like, dude, and then we start doing our whatever, our felonious whatever we were doing, and all I know is, dude, then all of a sudden I'm in a high-speed pursuit, and then when I finally wrecked the car, dude, I had turned the wheel so sharply that, dude, the front tires just came right off the rims. Like, I mean, dude, it was just like one of those deals. And I slid the car into a block wall, and then we go to get out of the car, and the doors won't open because it's all electronic, whatever. So now we're like crawling out like Dukes of Hazzard, and dude, all I know is Corey ran. Dude, it's perfect. When you're with somebody, go the opposite direction, right? So he ran one way and I ran the other, and I instantly heard the cops grabbing Corey. And then I was like, yo, yeah, it's my big break. So I'm like running, but I'm like in a city that I'm not really familiar with. I was like in Norwalk or Downey or so, yeah, I was like, dude, in uncharted territory, and I was like, dude, tripping, and I'm running, and I hear the helicopter, and I hear them beating Corey, and I'm just running, man, and I'm running down the street, and never in my mind did I think like, wow, dude, you've really done it this time. Maybe you should like, dude, of course, dude, all I could think about was getting away so I could continue doing what I was doing. That's all ever it is. It's like, it's just get away so you can just, keep the dream alive kind of thing. So like, right? So I'm running and I'm running and I'm running and I'm running, and I see this open garage door, and I'm into the open garage, and I'm through the garage, and I'm into the backyard, and I'm running through the backyard, and then I hear it all going on, and then I hit the ground, and I'm army man crawling through the backyard. Dude, oh man. And I run out into the front yard, and I see all the cops, and I just dive right into this bush, and I'm in this bush. And I'm like, dude, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's okay. You just gotta go to sleep, Jimmy. You just gotta go to sleep, and everything's gonna be okay. So I'm in there, I'm in the bush, and I'm like all like, dude, just like in this bush, I'm like a mummy. And I'm just in there, and it's like really quiet. And I'm just in there, and I could just hear my heart beating, and I'm just in there. Boom! Dude, it was that quick, dude. They were on me, dude. Dude, absolutely rescued, man. Dude, they reached into the bushes and pulled my head back as far as it would go, and then they pepper sprayed me in my ears, dude, it's so great, dude, because they sprayed it in my ears, up my nose, in my eyes, in my mouth. Dude, they cuff me and they just drag me. You know how they do it. You know how they do you, man. dude, they don't, it's nothing proper, but they just you know, drag me through the yard, across the asphalt, face down, and then they set me up on my knees, and they're like, you piece of you know what, you just ran over that baby, and oh yeah, boy, you're going, it's just like all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow, man. And never did I think, man, Jimmy, you really need some help, and you really need to consider, you know, trying to figure out what's going on. It was never like figure out or find it or whatever. It was like, you know what, plead guilty. Don't ever even try to fight the case. Just plead guilty, go do your time, get out, and start the thing all over again. And so anyways, I did my time. I got out. I had that, you know, whatever hanging over my head, and it was not enough to keep me from hanging out with the old friends, you know, and going back, because I'm thinking like, dude, I'm strong enough, man. I can do it. I can do this. I can go hang out with the old friends who are boozing it up and who are like smoking it up, and I can go in there and I can white knuckle it, and I can come out on top. And it was like that thing, man. It's just like, dude, my friends are like, oh no, dude, hey man, you can't be, you know, and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, dude, it's all right, just let me hang out. And like, dude, I'd be hanging out, and like we'd be all talking, and then everybody get up and go in the other room. And dude, and like the butterflies would come on, like that whole like thing, and just start eating you. And then they'd come back in, you know, they just went in there and just, you know, handled their business, and then they come back in, and it's just like, it was just too much, man. So one of the times they went up, I was like right in there saying, dude, you gotta let me, I don't even care. Who cares? I don't care, man. And I'm gonna get away and all this stuff. But anyways, it didn't happen. And the bottom line was, I was back in front of the judge again, and for the first time I was able to say to him, you know what? I have a drug problem. And it was like, wow, dude. He's like, okay, Mr. Rich. He's like, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to you know, to get into a program. Dude, you got 45 days. And I went, hell yeah. Dude, 45 days? Oh man, it's an eternity. Dude, I felt like I'd gotten away with it, man, because I had 45 days to get into treatment. And so, dude, basically, I got on a waiting list for a place in Pasadena because I'd had a friend who went through there. And dude, they consider it to be hardcore and all this stuff, and you hear all this creepy stuff about the place, but it was the greatest decision I ever made. Because you know what, man, I was in need of some hardcore shit. Excuse my language, but I needed it, man. I needed it. I needed somebody to be in my face telling me, dude, punk, shut up, sit down, man. You don't know nothing about living life sober. You don't know anything about it, man, so you just need to shut up. And then I'm out there playing grab ass like I'm in the county jail, and like they're like, man, you know what? Why are you here? Those are those questions where you're like, wow, it just, boom, it just hits you. You're like, wow, why? Because you got a little bit of abstinence under your belt. You're kind of like, you know, you're not flying around in the plane anymore. You're actually on, you know, you're on the landing strip. You still may be holding on to the wheel, but you got enough to begin to understand that, man, something it needs to change. And it's not everybody else, but it's what's going on inside of you. And beginning to come to the understanding that, you know what, man, I'm not a bad person because I've made bad decisions in my life, you know. And so anyways, dude, I had all this opportunity then that 45 days to really try to get it out of my system, even though it just never really worked. You know, I mean, because on the 44th day or whatever, like I'm on this waiting list, and like I'd be up at 6 in the morning, I'd be like, shh, turn it down, dude, I got a call, I got to check in, I'm on this waiting list. I'd be like, hey, this is Jimmy Rich, I'm on the waiting list. Okay, call back tomorrow, all right, thank you, boom. And then, you know, it's like party time. But then there was that time, man, it was that on the 44th day, I'm like, hey, dude, I'm like, shut up, man, I'm on the waiting list, I got to make this phone call. I'm like, hey, it's Jimmy Rich, I'm on the waiting list. Oh, okay. Hung up the phone, and they had space for me finally. And I walked in there thinking that I was going to rewrite, you know, that I was going to be writing my own treatment plan. I was going to, like, dude, this place that had been in order for God knows how many years, and it helped so many effing people. I was going to go, Wow, 3 minutes. Okay, here we are. Dude, I didn't know anything. All I knew is that I was there, and they were in my face, and they were telling me that I didn't know anything about living life sober. So what they told me that I needed to do was I needed to get into the literature. I needed to work on getting a support group, a foundation, and that was like grabbing phone numbers, and not just grabbing them, but actually getting them and putting them to some use, grabbing a sponsor, and really be accessible, and you know, not just be here just you know, to save face, you know. Dude, I mean, dude, they say wherever you go, there you are. Well, wherever you go, there's AA too. I mean, it's just like, dude, there is a wrench for every nut in this room. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, no matter where I've went, I've clearly had an opportunity to get in and check, and to get into a room, or to call a hotline, or to do whatever, just to check in and say, hey, you know what, I'm new to the area, what's the closest meeting? And then once you get to the meeting, you can raise your hand and really begin to build that support group. That's so important. And I never knew, and now I know. I know that there's another way to live. And it isn't about keeping all this stuff to myself. It's about getting into the room and telling on myself, because they say you're only as sick as your secrets, and you and all those different things. And it's so true. It's all those things that they say that I'm like, motherfuck me, God, dude, they got to say it again and again and again. It's like, yeah, man, you know what? The reason they say it again is because it's God's truth. You know, they would. If for the most part, I can't speak for anybody else but myself, but if it didn't work, I wouldn't have hung around. You know, if I didn't feel this change go on in my life, I wouldn't still be here. And I'm not saying, I mean, the whole thing is there are no guarantees, but what I've given myself through working with other people and allowing other people to minister to me in terms of their experience, strength, and taking in some of their hope is, I've given myself a better chance, which I had no chance, man, when I was out there before. And I want to thank Robert for asking me to come out here. And thank you.
All right, Jimmy Rich, thanks, brother. Let's see here. I guess we go to the secretary announcements, right?
That's right.
Robert, yeah?
Hi, Robert. Hi. Let's thank Jimmy Rich for speaking tonight. And let's thank Jay for leading a great meeting. Can we revisit the newcomers and out-of-towners, please? Hey, Mike.
Mike.
Newcomers, Keith, Ned, Amy, no, Annie, sorry, Eric, Mike, another Eric, Joshua, and Reza. Those are our newcomers tonight.
Cool.
Chips, 30 days, Justin, congratulations. Big kid, 30 days. 90 days, we have 3 chip takers, Imogen, Miranda, and Johnny. Birthdays, 1 year for Eddie. Congratulations, Eddie. Last but not least, the beautiful Wayne Butler for 29.
And after we check in with all the people who haven't already checked in, who have commitments at this meeting, we'll clap afterwards for everyone. So would you kindly stand if you're part of making this deal happen?
I'm Jam an alcoholic.
Jim.
And H&I is the area of Alcoholics Anonymous that helps bring literature and panels into places where people can't get out, places like jails, institutions. We all know them. Yes, we do love them. And if you're laughing, please give generously. Thank you very much.
My name's Keith, alcoholic, and I help green.
Thanks, Keith.
Mary, alcoholic, I bring the water.
Hi, Mary.
Dave, #1 chip guy.
Hi, Dave. Leslie.
I'm Brian, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Brian.
To be signing, I'll be at the podium after the meeting.
Thanks, Brian.
I'm Orion, I'm an alcoholic, I do coffee, so if you guys just clean up around your area, that'd be awesome. Thanks.
Thanks, Orion.
Mary, I'm an alcoholic, I'm your greeter.
Mary. Jen. Linda.
Maya, I bring the food.
Saving alcoholic, I bring you cake.
I'm Vivian.
County alcoholic, your treasurer. I've collected $98.37. Our expenses were $91.05. We have $7.32 to reserve. Court card signed, they'll be at the podium.
I'm an alcoholic named Dave, and I record this meeting. If you'd like a CD of Jimmy's talk, come see me afterwards. I'll have one next week. Thank you. Clean up.
Let's thank them one and all. Oh, clean up. After clean up.
My name's Jim, an alcoholic. And, if we could get 4 volunteers that preferably are not in recovery home living in 5 minutes, that'd be great.
This has been a regular night. Thank you for coming. Now come on, silence.
Okay. Okay.
All right, great. Thanks. Meet me in the back.
That's it?
Let's thank them all.
All right, this has been a Wednesday night speaker meeting. Thank you for coming and keep coming back. And now, after a moment of silent meditation for the alcoholic who still suffers, would Danny please come up and read the Lord's Prayer? You. Come on, Danny.
We'll just say it when we stand up.
Okay.
There you go. Go. Knock it out.
Ready? Yeah.
Our Father,
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Keep coming back, it works.